Hi guys, Assalamu alaikum. Sahel Aziz here and welcome back to another video. 2025 is here and I'm sure that many of you guys are going to take the Duolingo English test this year. So one of the hardest parts of Duolingo is writing, and if you're confused about that and if you want to improve your scores from here all the way to here by watching just one video, then let me assure you that this is going to be that video. Watch it completely, apply all the tips that I'm going to give you, and thank me later. So watch the video completely.
Let me give you my tips and tricks for the writing part of Duolingo English test. The number one tip that I'm going to give you is that use advanced vocabulary for high scores. And by advanced vocabulary, what I mean is that I've seen lots of you guys telling me that my scores are not my score is not increasing on Duolingo English test, but when I see their sample answers, they're using the word very a lot. Very good, very useful, very important, very hard. Stop using that. Instead of that, use the synonyms, advanced synonyms for these words in your responses. All right, and also use idioms, but you have to be just cautious about one thing, that you have to use the right words in idioms in the right part, because I still remember when I was giving the Duolingo English test, I was able to write two idioms only in my writing sample, because I could use all those two idioms only, and there was no chance to use more idioms, so that's why I avoided them. You don't need to just forcefully use and add idioms and advanced vocabulary if they're not useful in that situation. So keep that in mind. Tip number two that I'm going to give you is that do not use contractions. um, I myself has the habit of using contractions whenever I'm speaking or writing, but when it comes to Duolingo English test, you should uh, avoid using contractions, because number one, it doesn't sound formal, and number two, in Duolingo English test, there is a scoring criteria that the more you write, the high scores you will get. So instead of using the word don't, if you say do not, uh, don't is one word and do not are two words. Simply I am, you are, won't, will not, and these kind of. So there are like lots of contractions in English, and you have to just avoid using them. Tip number three is be cautious about spelling mistakes, and this is one of the crucial tips that I could give you. I've seen lots of people making spelling mistakes, and if you make a spelling mistake, then your word that you have written will be counted incorrect, and then the scores will be deducted from you, of course. So you have to avoid spelling mistakes. And here you have to also remember the tip number four here, that is avoid stupid writing mistakes. And what I mean by that, I have seen lots of people using adding sesis with plural nouns. For example, people is a plural noun, but I've seen lots of people uh, using peoples instead of people. Or we can say they are using for fish, for the plural of fish, it's fish, but they're using fishes. And this in this way, there are like lots of words which are used incorrectly by them, and this actually detect your scores in Duolingo English test. You have to avoid this. Number two is and number two in this stupid mistakes is punctuation. For the in the At the end of affirmative sentence, use full stop. I've seen lots of people do not using that. They don't know where to use comma, where to use exclamation mark, where to use column, semicolon, and you have to just review the punctuation rules before you're going for the Duolingo English test, and you have to practice them beforehand so that you can use them naturally in the correct way. And also there are some nouns which are uncountable, but I've seen people adding ses to them as well. Like for example, information. I've seen lots of people using informations. Do not add s at the end of it. Advice, advices. No, advice is an uncountable noun. Do not add s. Like sugar, like fuel, like furniture. So avoid these kind of stupid mistakes, because it will cost you scores, believe me. All right. Or when you start your answer, so the first thing that you have to do is write a topic sentence. At the topic sentence, if you are asked for your opinion, so do not just start your answer by the sentence "in my opinion." Use other alternatives here. For example, you can say as far as I'm concerned. Okay, regarding this issue, my opinion is the way I see this problem, and these kind of other sentences that you can find on Google, and I have also shared them in my previous videos as well, so use them. Okay, another tip is use transition words. um, After the topic sentence you have to write a few supporting sentences, and in supporting sentences you have to use transition words like furthermore, however, additionally, in addition to, firstly, secondly, lastly, like this. Okay, and when you are done writing the supporting sentences, then you have to write the concluding sentence. In the concluding sentence, you can also use some sentences in transition words. For example, ultimately, and then then sum up your response. You can say to sum up, and then write it. You can say with that being said. You can say at the end of the day, and then sum up your response. And you can say last but not the least, and sum up your response. So this is how you write it. First you need to use topic sentence, supporting sentences, and concluding sentence. In the topic sentence, use a starting phrase to start your response. In supporting sentences, use transition words to link your ideas and get a high score. And in concluding sentence, use a transition or just a sentence to conclude your answer. All right. So these were the tips and tricks that I have followed in my own Duolingo English tests, and if you follow them carefully, then you will get a high score on Duolingo English test. I hope this video was helpful, and I'm sure if you follow these tips and tricks carefully, then you will get your desired scores on Duolingo English test. And do not forget to visit the Dreamy DT website. The link is down in the description. That is one of the best websites where you can prepare for Duolingo English test. A visit to that is must, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.